Greetings, salutations, respect and love, all you cats and kittens out there. I am Scott from the Fire Note, and today in the Prog Corner, I'm excited about this one. I truly am. This is one of my favorite bands that gets zero attention. One of the great American prog bands. Yes, we are talking about Virginia's Happy the Man, and we're going to talk about their career, their music, in particular, their first two incredible albums. Little background about Happy the Man. Like I said, they began in Virginia. They were college students, and they were trying to get something going. Big fans of British progressive rock. The name came from not the Genesis song, apparently, which there'll be more Genesis connection later, but apparently it is a Christianity reference. It's a Bible reference, not a reference to the Genesis song. Anyway, they are off in college. They're trying to get this band together. The bass player, Rick Kennel, was originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana, where he had a band called Zelda. Some of those guys ended up doing a band called Ethos. So there is a connection to that band. 1976's debut and their incredible follow-up from 77, both highly recommended. Great band Ethos, but Happy the Man was even better with his connections. Back home in Indiana, they were able to get the great drummer Mike Beck on board, and then they also had a guy named Cliff Fortney, but in the early days, singing. But the band finally got their act together. They got signed to a management deal with Cellar Door Productions. This turned into some dinner theater work where they were doing prog songs for people eating $100 a plate dinners. I would have loved to have been at one of those. That would have been cool. But anyway, they because of that association with Cellar Door, they get a meeting with Arista Records, where the president of Arista is like, I don't understand this band, but they're really great, so let's sign them. They got a 2-record deal. Their first album came out in 1977. The lineup was Stanley Whitaker on guitar and vocals, Kit Watkins on keyboards, Frank Wyatt on saxophones and other keyboard, the aforementioned Rick Kennel on bass, and Mike Beck on drums. Their debut album came out in 77. It was produced by none other than Ken Scott, and this album is just freaking phenomenal. I bought the cassette of this, sight unseen. I'm living on a boat, and I go into Peaches in Fort Lauderdale, looking through, and I'm like, what? Happy the Man. I know, is that a Genesis thing? And the guy at the record store said, you need this, so I bought it. I loved it. It is absolutely incredible. There's something about the flavor on this album. It's got some jazz influence. It's got some space rock influence, but it's really rooted in progressive rock of the British variety. It sounds a little like Yes. It sounds a little like Genesis. Kit Watkins is an absolute beast on keyboards. Mike Beck, apparently live, was one of the most amazing showmen. He was like the star of the show. So that when it came time to do their sophomore album the next year, Ken Scott, the producer, was all excited, and he finds out Mike Beck's not in the band anymore. They have a new drummer, Ron Riddle. He plays more of a busier style, where Beck was more of a banger. Riddle's style is very complex. He uses 1,000 rack toms. It kind of almost reminds me a little like Terry Bozzio from Missing Persons in UK, but he's just phenomenal, a whole different kind of drummer. Both, the first two, they're both absolutely incredible. The weakness of the band, if they had one, was their vocals. But you see, this is how great a band they were. They knew about this. They knew that that was their weakness. Their first album had 2 songs with vocals. Their second album had only 1 song on vocals. So they understood who they were. They stayed in their lane. They did what they did best. And both of those albums are 10 out of 10. Now, came time to record a third album, 1979. Arista drops them. Crafty Hands did not do as well as the first album, which didn't do that great to start with. But they're working on a third album. They have no label. Ron Riddle, their new drummer, quits. And then a week later, Kit Watkins announces that he is joining Camel. And for all intents and purposes, Happy the Man is no more. 4 years later, they gather up those tapes and they do release that third album. It's called Third Better Never, ... It's okay. It's not bad. I like it. I don't love it. I wish I loved it. I really do. After that, they came out with a couple archival releases. First of which was called Beginnings, which is all stuff done way back in the day with Cliff Fortnoy, Fortney, however you pronounce it. Stuff from 74 and 75. The demo quality, it doesn't sound good. I'm not a big fan. A couple years after that, in 99, they released something called Death's Crown, which is 3 songs. The first one's like 30 minutes long, and then a couple other things. The long piece is apparently the stuff they were playing at those dinner theaters, mixed in with some of the material that found its way on the first album. Again, not a great album. But something happened in 2004. They get signed to Inside Out, and they decide to do a new album of new material. Kit Watkins, not there. They have a brand new drummer, Joe Bagamini. The new keyboard player is David Rosenthal. And the album was called The Muse Awakens, and it's actually a really strong record. Yeah, it's not as good as their first 2, but for a comeback record, you can't ask for a whole lot more. It's actually pretty damn solid. So Happy the Man, American band. Yeah, I am a big fan of American Prog. Yeah, everybody knows about Zappa and Beefheart and Kansas and Styx, and maybe they might even know Dixie Dregs. But do you know about Mythrander? Do you know about Cathedral? Do you know about Hands? Do you know about Yezda Urfa? Do you know about Surprise or Pre or Pentwater or Fire Ballet? There's so many great American prog bands from the 70s that never got any attention. Happy the Man got a little bit because they were on a major label, but they've been forgotten about, it seems. So I wanted to do just a real quick tribute to them. I love them. I always have. Those first 2 albums, absolutely pure genius. If you don't know them, go back and find them. You can get the vinyl for dirt cheap on both of them. I think I picked up both of them for under 20. So anyway, Happy the Man. If you don't know them, you need to know them. I might do this as part of an ongoing series. I'm thinking about calling it Upon Further Review, going back and looking at some of the forgotten gems, bands or albums that either were forgotten about or maybe were held in low esteem at the time and need a revisitation. Anyway, I am Scott from the Fire Note. We are here in the Prog Corner. I need you to hit that subscribe button so we can keep this thing going. That's my plan, is to make sure the entire world knows about how great prog rock is. It's not dead. It's alive and well, even though we're talking about albums from 45 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, I am Scott, and I will see you guys next time.